Hi, Jenny here. Today we are going to be making diagonal striped friendship bracelets. Let's get started. Here are a couple examples of bracelets that we've made. So you can choose any different color of thread, and these are the diagonal stripes. Here are some bracelets that my daughter has made and she wears on her wrist all the time. Lots of pretty colors. Some of the supplies we will need for this project are a tape measure to measure our string out. We'll need a scissors to cut that, some masking tape, and maybe a pin in case we get any knots. I like to use the embroidery thread for this project. It's a little bit thicker and it ties really nicely. Just make sure you don't get the silk kind, because they do have regular thread and silk. So again, here are some of the colors you could buy at the store. We are going to be using the right 4 colors for this project. Okay, you're going to lay out your tape measure so that it measures up to your 80 inches. Make sure you have your scissors handy. Then we're going to take our thread and we are going to measure it out to the 80 inches. And what we're going to do, one strand of each of the 4 colors for our bracelet. So there's one, and we'll do all the other 3 colors. Okay, when tying the knot, we're going to take the thread and make a loop, and then loop the rest of the threads and put one loop through the other. Then we'll make a fairly small knot at the top. That's what we'll use to tie it on the wrist. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is take a piece of masking tape and we're going to tape down our loop so that it doesn't move on us when we're doing our knots. And you want to make sure the surface that you're taping it on is something that's nice and smooth. You want to be careful of taping on a wooden table because sometimes it can lift off some of the veneer and polish and stuff like that. So just be careful of where you're taping. Then you want to separate out your threads. You want to keep the 2 colors of each thread together. And then as we're making our knots, we're going to make our way from left to right. And take your first string, take it over your second, and do like a little loop or maybe a little 4. Put that first string under the second, hold the bottom taut, and take the top one up. And you want to do 2 knots on each string. Do that, take that first one string out of the way, then find your next string. We want to do the same thing, taking our first string, and that one goes over the second, and around and through. So that ensures always that your first color is always going to be the one that's on top and the color that's showing through. As you keep making these types of bracelets, they'll get easier. And actually, as you keep going down on the bracelets, the threads get shorter, it gets easier and easier. Sometimes when the threads are long, they get tangled up with each other a little bit, but this is a good project to do while you're watching TV or watching YouTube videos, listening to music. It's an easy little craft to do. You could make a bunch of different bracelets for yourself in different colors, and you can make a bunch of different bracelets for your friends. And when you're done, this string just stays over on this side. Move them kind of all back over. And then we're going to start again from the left. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to keep going until our bracelet is as long as we need it. Okay, as you can see here, I've finished 2 rows of the white and 2 rows of the gray. And as you can see, each row you can see all the white and you can see all the gray. I will now show you what happens if by chance when you're doing this that a different color comes up on top and how you can fix that. As you can see, when you're making your rows of colors, like we had, I said all the white, we've got all the gray, now I'm doing the black, and I happened to not do it correctly and a white stitch came on top instead of being black. So that's what you then want to have like a pin for, and you can get in there and loosen up the knot. So you loosen up that thread, you can see the knot will come undone. And then you can take that out, and then you can redo it again so that you redo it correctly. After you get braided pretty far down, you want to measure it here and there as you go. Measure it from the top to about the bottom, and you want to go somewhere between 5–5.5 inches from the start of your knot there. That's about the size of an adult wrist. Otherwise, there too, if you're doing it for a child and that, what you can do is you take it up again after you get so far and just kind of measure it out. So when you have that on there, you just want to put your wrist on there and then see how far the bracelet's going to come. So then what we're going to do with the rest of the string on here is we're going to braid it. So again, we can just tie that and tape it down. So you're going to separate out your colors. And because we have 8 strands here, what we're going to do is do a 3-2-3. So 3's on the outside and 2 in the middle. And then just as if you were braiding hair, you're just going to do the cross over and under. And you're going to make this about an inch or so long, an inch, inch and a half, because we're going to use that for our tying end. So I will just braid this here and then show you what it's like at the end. And then when you get it braided down, like I said, about an inch and a half, 2 inches, then we're going to do another knot, kind of like we did at the top there. So let's see if I can do this while it's taped. Well, these things are easier to do when you're not filming. All right. Make your loop, pull it through, and again tie it at the end of your braiding. And there you have a friendship bracelet. Alright, and you can just cut off the ends a little bit after that. Keep the thread if you want to, otherwise do away with it. And then we can tie it on our wrist. Okay, another way of finishing off the bracelet is when you have it as far as you want it to go, you'll divide up the strings in half. So you're going to make 2 separate pieces, and then we're going to kind of braid them, but because we have 4 pieces, you're just going to keep going Under, over, under, over. And it doesn't really matter in what order or anything you do it, just as long as it kind of ends up looking a little bit like a braid. And then you'll end up having 2 strings at the end that you'll be able to tie off of. It'll be easier to tie when it's on your wrist. After you have it braided as far as you want it down, again, leave it a little bit longer. You do another tie on there like we did before with making your loop. You want to go around, pull your threads through, and again, you'll have a knot. I already did that, so I will undo this. And then again, just cut off the extra. And now with this bracelet, we'll have 2 ends on it, so when we're looping it around, you can tie it by just putting one end through and then actually doing a normal tie. So we have that one, and then again we made the one with just the one braid. So also doing the same thing with putting that through, looping it around, and then being able to tie it off. The thing about tying bracelets is that they don't really come off. You can cut them off. You can try to untie them. Usually the ties are too tight, but otherwise you just wear them all the time, and you wear them in the shower and all that, but they dry pretty quickly. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to put the instructions on how to make the bracelet down in the description below. I'm going to go make some more of these wonderful bracelets in different colors. Keep it positive. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye.